Hi, Maya. It's good to see you today, and I'm glad that we're having a chance to talk about uh, the dissertation process. So, the dissertation is scary, isn't it? I know that you think about it, a lot of people, you've heard a lot of people talk about how hard it is, and this is where a lot of people fail. But you don't have to. It is just a process, and you take it one step at a time. Just like you've taken your coursework at Franklin, you'll take all the courses, and then you'll get ready for your comprehensive exams, and you'll study for those, and you'll take the comps, and you'll pass them, and then you'll start on the dissertation, and it's nothing more than a series of research papers. More complex a little bit, but hey, it's not that difficult. So, what the dissertation is like is the first part of the dissertation is just your introduction. And for the introduction, you're just going to tell about what you're going to write about. Basically, you have part of that is the abstract, and you'll write that at the last. But the introduction, you're just talking about what your dissertation is about, and it's fairly simple. Your second chapter is called the lit review, and so this is where you're going to do a lot of reading, writing, and capturing on the topic that you're going to write about. So let's just say that you're writing about strategy. So in the lit review section, you're going to go out and you're going to read articles and journals, and you're going to read books and all kinds of things, and you're going to capture the data that you read and inform us about strategy overall. Okay, and so that's just the lit review. You're looking at all the literature out there on strategy. I'm making it up, by the way, so your dissertation won't be on strategy, but that's just an example. And so then the third chapter is the actual where you're going to tell your committee. And by the way, your committee is your selection. You're going to say who you want on it, and I encourage you to get people that know something about what you're going to talk about in your paper. For instance, if you were to talk about strategy, you would want to get a professor on there that's has some experience writing about strategy or acting on strategy, being a strategic thinker in an organization, whatever. You'd get that by interviewing them and talking to people about who could be on your committee. So I encourage you to get people that know something about your topic on your committee. Having said that, you'll decide what kind of method of research you're going to use. Will it be quantitative, which would be you're looking at things numerically? How does that look? What does that look like? You could do a survey of classrooms, let's say, or a survey of businesses. I'll stay with strategy for a second. So we're going to talk about what kind of strategy a business uses. All right, so there you go. So you're going to survey 500 companies and have a bunch of questions in this survey that they would answer. And you get those surveys back, and then you would look at all the numbers and to the answers to your question, and you would put that in some sort of numerical format. And so that's quantitative. And qualitative is the type where you might do interviews of people, and you would capture what they say via a standardized questionnaire, and you would look at what they've said and coagulate all that data and come out with an idea of what the group thought. Okay, and so that's qualitative, and it's probably the richest kind because it's not as cold as numbers, but it's got a lot more interpretation to it. I really am prejudiced towards qualitative, but it's not the only way to do it. So there's quantitative and there's qualitative. You can mix the two together too, but you say that in your chapter 3, and that's where you really go to work and you do your research. You're sending out your surveys, you're doing your interviews, you're doing your case studies, you're doing whatever kind of research that you're doing. Then chapter 4 is just telling us what you've done. Basically, you're writing out your results of what happened in your research. This is what I found. This is how I'm adding to the body of knowledge. Okay? And then chapter 5 is what are the implications? What did I find, and how it will impact that body of knowledge that I was looking at? So if I was looking at strategy, how would what I found about strategy, how does that impact strategy? Okay, it's nothing to it. I mean, I say it's nothing to it. It's a process, and you can't do it overnight. You can't do it in 6 weeks. It takes a long time to get all these chapters done because you're turning them into your committee to make sure that they approve what you do, right? You're getting approval along the way. It's sort of like submitting a paper to a professor and saying, hey, how did I do? And they grade it and send it back to you. Same thing with the chapters. After you get the written part done, you have to defend it. This is fun. This is really where it gets to be fun because you're the expert. Just think about this. Your committee has read what you've submitted to them along the way, but they haven't been in the middle of it like you have. So you're now going to get to talk about what the research that you did. It is so much fun to talk about it, and you'll do your oral defense for your committee. And then that's pretty much the end of it. Do you have any questions for me, Maya? Because I want to make sure that you're as comfortable with the dissertation as you are with the coursework. It's just another process that you'll go through. It's a little longer than a course, but nevertheless, it's all doable. So, look, I'm available for you to talk to, for you to call, come by my office, whatever. I want to help you, okay? Thanks. Have a good day.